Hello, welcome to Thunderhawk Coaching. Here is Will with another video. So today I wanted to talk about men's mental health. I think men's mental health is in a really weird position right now. In general, I think it's really extreme, as I feel like it always has historically, but like the more I look at this, the more extreme it feels, right? So when I think about men's mental health, more than ever, like more and more guys are like coming out and talking about their mental health and like the challenges they face with their own mental health. Huge W, by the way. Proud of every single one of you that do that and engage with that. I love the heck out of you. But I think it's because, as I kind of alluded to in my last video on my other channel, that there are a lot of extremes that I think men particularly get pulled into, okay? So, like, I really think that, like, the balance here is what's really important with men's mental health. But I think we're socialized as people, as a gender, as certain subcultures within said gender, to go to extremes. And, like, that has led to maybe some positive results for some of us, but also absolutely devastating downfalls, right? Like, some people have hurt themselves in significant ways. Some people have damaged themselves beyond repair, and unfortunately are no longer with us because of like the extremes of mental health, right? We've got like, I feel like some men over here like thriving and like talking about their feelings, really connecting with people and crying in public. And it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful to share that stuff. I think it's beautiful to share strong emotions. And then we've got this other crowd of people that's like, therapy's a joke. What's the point in talking about your feelings anyway? It's not going to solve anything. This like action-orientated group. This group of guys that maybe really prescribe to certain ideological ideas about how the world should be, right? And it's really like, it's really weird because like those, I feel really kind of, I feel sad for those guys because I really feel like those guys that feel like therapy doesn't work, those guys that feel like there should be really specific, rigid roles in the home, in the world about what men should and shouldn't do, those guys are really struggling, right? I feel like those guys don't feel like they have a place, like they don't belong. So we've got this like big group of people. I'm putting them in the incel bucket, right? But there are a lot of different people that feel like that too, that wouldn't necessarily identify with being incels. And they're like, what am I doing? Where am I going? What is the point in me? There's really high unemployment, especially for Gen Z. There's different kind of familial structures now that we hear about through media. Like people being polyamorous in polycules and whatnot. I'm chill with that personally, but like a lot of people are really judgmental of that. And we've kind of got these alternate ideas kind of coming through the woodwork that are then promoting additional extremes. And this is like contributing to the big problem, I think, of like why men's mental health is weird. Because we've got some guys crying, we got some guys trying not to cry at all and hold all their feelings in, and then go to extremes, right? And I just think that like, I think as men, me as well, we all need to be honest here. We just, in general, are like really bad with feelings, okay? We all have feelings. You, if you're a guy, you have feelings, whether you like it or not. And how we deal with those feelings more like contributes to the outcome, right? So again, this extreme point that I'm trying to make is that men who say they don't have feelings or don't want to talk about their feelings or push their feelings away or are very judgmental about engaging with those kinds of conversations. Those guys are struggling. Those guys are bottling a lot up. Those guys are holding a lot. Those guys are, I feel trapped. I feel like they're trapped when I engage with people in this pattern of thinking. I'm like, man, like you're just stuck in this box, and like that sucks because you want to feel valuable in your community, And this is like the weird thing again about like mental health for men, is that like I feel like there's, in a weird way, this like rigid idea of what a man has to be. I think I would describe myself as a man that presents fairly typically. I don't think I present particularly femme or any other kind of alternate ways of being. Just because I'm not really too focused on my aesthetics personally. That's just me. I try and do the internal work and try not to look like I don't take care of myself. That's about as much as I think about it. But I think some other people are really absorbed in this, right? Really like, hey, I have to look this way, I have to be this way, or I'm not going to get a girlfriend, or I'm not going to get a wife, or I'm not going to have the kids and the house and the white picket fence, and I'm not going to have all of this. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of that never existed in the way you thought they did. And if it did, like we're in a different world right now, and I think this is what makes mental health even weirder, for men specifically, because I think that there's also a lot of people saying like, men, screw you, how dare you for like sharing your emotions and being open, because I think a lot of what men are actually looking for is like kind of like intimacy, right? Like emotional intimacy, like acceptance, appreciation, and unfortunately so many men don't get that. They're not allowed to express themselves. They're told that they're lesser for having feelings. At some point in their life, right? Man should be strong, unga bunga, right? Go full unga bunga mode, boys, and then everything will be okay. But everything isn't okay, right? You might feel this. I would love to hear if you do. But being in a world where the role of a man feels very different is really hard when you want something to be anchored to, some kind of stability, okay? Because like we're in a really unstable world, right? When we like look at the news, we like look at what's happening on our YouTube feeds or Twitter, X, Blue Sky, whatever, Reddit. Like, people aren't saying, hell yeah, let's go, everything's great and dandy, and, you know, there's economic challenges. I think this is one of the huge challenges and problem that men face, is that now, like, a lot of the jobs that historically men would do, right? I think about, I saw a documentary recently about Bourneville, which is the town in England where all of the chocolate for Cadbury's was made. If you've ever heard of Cadbury's chocolate from the UK, there was a whole town of people that worked for the Cadbury's factory, right? All of those people had shared common experiences. They had pubs that they'd go to just for workers from the factory, right? There would be loads of people, huge community of people that would work together, right? And a lot of the physical jobs were done by men, right? A lot of the physical labor was done by men, but these days, there's like way less of that work because we've automated that stuff out. We've got like robots to do that. We've got trucks to carry stuff. We've got planes to fly stuff over long distances. Like, we don't need physical labor anywhere near as much as we used to. Without, in my opinion, in a world where like social and emotional intelligence actually like more financially rewarded, right? Like, I think if you're rolling a high charisma stat, you can get in a lot of places in life and in the world, right? And if you're like a strength build, which most men are usually better at strength, like you're gonna really struggle, right? Because also we're not being given social environments like those Bourneville chocolatiers had back in the day to even build these social skills and these connections and feel like we can be part of communities, right? So like, what do men do? What do men do? Like, hide. I feel like that's what a lot of men are doing. They're hiding. And it sucks because how can you grow? How can you feel like you have a stepping stone towards your future if like nobody even like lets you feel what you're feeling, right? And then, bam, you're numbing that stuff down. Alexithymia happens, which is just more normative for men. Whether that's innate or conditioned is up for debate. I would argue it's conditioned. But, it feels really hard to say that, like, in general, the ideas that are given to men, it's really hard to find a win in those. There's a lot of contradictions in those. I feel there's a lot of shame in those. There's a lot of, you're not enough, you should be this, you should be that, you should be working this physical job or doing this kind of trade or whatever. And actually men and women are more similar, I think, than we'd all care to admit. I think we got a lot of similarities. I think that women just in general, this is a big generalization here, generally don't like them, but I'm using them a lot this video, generally better at navigating emotions in general, because they have the whole menstrual cycle that they have to deal with, and in my opinion a key component of compassion and empathy is suffering, and what comes with the innate position of being a woman is suffering by the very systems you have been given. So men don't have that, so we have less experiences that could teach us to be compassionate towards others. And maybe, I think in a lot of ways we've come and made a lot of progress with helping men feel like they can express their emotions more. In my local area there's something called Men Walking and Talking, where a bunch of guys just get together and walk and talk about their feelings together and where they're at in life, and that's sick, that's great. But there's still a lot of work to be done. If you want to figure out what you're feeling a bit more and maybe explore some emotions a bit more, or even just talk to somebody that understands men's issues, being a man myself, Thunderhawk coaching can back you up. I'd love to talk to you about it if you want to. Check the website in the description. But I think I'm going to leave it there for today. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. Thunderhawk Coaching forever.